Here are your General Hospital spoilers for Monday, November 10th, 2025. Armed with the knowledge that Portia could be another suspect in the Drew Kane shooting mystery, Sonny presents it to Michael. He fears that Justine will go after Michael, so Portia is his backup plan. Too bad Michael doesn't seem to like the idea. He is happy pinning the whole thing on Willow and sending her to prison and out of their kids' lives. And Willow is happy to pin this all on Michael for the same reason. Sonny would prefer that Justine direct her attention to anyone but Michael and Willow, but that looks like it will be easier said than done. Meanwhile, Portia has a confession to make and tells Isaiah some surprising things. He suggests that they go to the police, but Portia looks terrified to do so. What does Portia tell him? Does Isaiah learn that Drew was blackmailing her? Alexis is ready to use that information about Portia that Sonny gave her, so she heads to Pentonville to see Willow and tell her there's some potential good news. Will Willow be like Michael and insist they leave Portia out of it all for some weird and petty revenge? Meanwhile, Nina thinks she has things all under control. She tells Drew that Michael will unwittingly help her with her plan. It sounds like Nina is about to make even more of a mess in her quest to help her daughter. Chase is also determined to help Willow in his own way and details a plan. Does he pay Willow a visit as well and tell her how he's going to make sure she goes free? Willow is happy to have Chase on her side, but still wants to pin this whole thing on Michael. As for Brooklyn, she gets some jarring news and discusses things with Dante. Does she learn that her husband has been visiting his ex-wife in jail? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. General Hospital spoilers hint that Dante Falconeri may arrest Giovanni Gio Palmieri over the upcoming lab break-in. Will Brooklyn Quartermain end up panicking over the criminal charges for her bio son? Gio knows the risks of helping Emma Scorpio Drake, but he also knows how important this mission is to her. Emma is obviously quite passionate about protecting animals from cruel testing practices, and she fully believes that's what Professor Henry Hank Dalton is up to in the research lab. Of course, GH viewers know there's a much bigger mystery in play with way higher stakes. Emma and Gio don't understand the gravity of the situation, but they may get a giant wake-up call when they finally make it inside that lab. General Hospital spoilers say Gio and Emma find something horrific waiting for them. There'll be an appalling discovery, so we'll see if that involves human testing or something else that leaves Emma and Gio disgusted. Regardless, it may not be long until Gio and Emma set off some alarm bells with their presence. That may include some literal ones if there's a security alarm that ultimately goes off. One way or another, Emma and Gio may get busted. Since Gio is such a sweet, protective guy, we could buy the idea of him hustling Emma out and trying to take all the blame himself. That's especially true since Emma has a track record of pulling stunts like this and doesn't need another incident haunting her. Even if they both get caught, Gio might act like it was his idea and lie that he pressured Emma into it. As for Dante, he'll find himself in a tight spot. Gio is just starting to warm up to Dante and give him signs that maybe they could have some sort of bond. But this ordeal could cause a major snag. GH spoilers indicate that Dante's career will make trouble in his personal life. So will he arrest Gio or at least interrogate him in the aftermath? Whatever the case, Brooklyn may freak out over the mess Gio's landed in and blast Dante. If he won't get Gio off the hook, Dante, on the other hand, may end up pretty angry with Gio for dragging Rocco Falconeri into this by pushing him to steal Britt Westbourne's key fob. At the same time, it may break Dante's heart to see all the progress he's made with Gio potentially go out the window. Bad news is coming up any way you slice it, so Dante will definitely struggle over all this. The show's setting the stage for another round of family drama, so stay tuned for updates on where Gio, Dante, and Brooklyn's story will go from here. General Hospital spoilers hint that Caesar Faison may plan to make Anna Devane his wife. Is Faison alive and behind the elaborate fake WSB operation? GH watched as Anna was chloroformed, handcuffed to a chair and plopped in a room alone. Someone who sounded like Faison spoke to Anna through a speaker and urged her to be at peace since she was on her way to a new life. Soon after, Jack Brennan got a phone call that was supposedly from Anna. Brennan later gave Laura Collins updates on a highly classified WSB operation that required Anna to step away from Port Charles immediately. Of course, Anna's voice could have been a case of AI, or even a situation where she was forced to provide a bogus story. If Emma Scorpio Drake's life was threatened, Anna might have been willing to say just about anything. Either way, Laura was right to be confused and suspicious. There's obviously something shady going on with Anna, since that's not the way the WSB would have handled bringing her back in for a classified assignment. Where is Anna off to instead? There's been speculation that someone is gaslighting Anna and simply wants her to believe Faison is back to throw her off kilter. However, you can never say never when it comes to Faison defying death and being up to no good. With both Britt Westbourne and Nathan West back on canvas, it's certainly possible that their father is alive and involved in this storyline. Since characters like Brennan and Jason Morgan have been adamant that Faison must be deceased, it might be setting up a soapy shocker where Faison truly survived after all. If that's the case, Faison's Anna obsession may be back in full force. This new life that Anna has been promised could involve becoming Faison's wife and perhaps being brainwashed to like it. Faison's final project seems to involve some human test subject drama, so Anna may be next in line for some mind manipulation or even some cloning. On General Hospital, fans who caught the mystery man at the hospital might have recognized Peter Stormare and wondered what the man who usually plays Russian gangsters was doing in Port Charles. A mystery man handed a folder to Felicia, played by Christina Wagner. The man had lightning reflexes, as shown by his catching Felicia's dropped pencil. He was wearing an employee's badge, but no one recognized him as he was actually there as part of an advertising campaign for next week's release of Call of Duty: Black Ops 7. In this video game, Stormare plays the role of the Replacer. Fans of the game franchise know that the Replacer is a character used in advertising campaigns for first-person shooter Call of Duty, and he offers his services to replace you in your job role so you can spend time playing the video game without your absence being noticed. Viewers watching the episode were immediately speculating as to what this man was up to. Was he there as part of a recast? What storyline would he be affecting? Fans were puzzled until on the show's official Instagram account, a video popped up offering an insight. General Hospital AEC. It isn't every day that you get to work with at the real Stormare. But what was he doing in Port Charles, and where was Stella Henry? Peter Stormare has been gracing our screens and showcasing his phenomenal range of European accents in shows such as The Blacklist. Still, he is perhaps best known for his role in John Wick, Chapter 2, where he plays Abram Tarasov, John Wick's antagonist. The comments showed that people were engaged in trying to figure out who he was and how this is the wildest crossover yet. Everyone can relax now in the comfort that there is no new actor arriving. Nor is there some new spy element. Who would have thought that General Hospital and Call of Duty would have the same target audience? But kudos to the marketing team for one heck of an advertisement. General Hospital spoilers hint that Valentine Cassadine may step up to save hostage Anna Devane. Will Valentine's prison getaway lead to a dramatic rescue? Valentine currently has a GH storyline with Carly Spencer involving their joint revenge on Jack Brennan. Thanks to Carly's Brennan manipulation, Valentine should finally get out of Steinmauer and land at a stateside prison facility. Fall preview info already hinted about Valentine's upcoming escape, but his motive may be about more than just freedom and Brennan's payback. Perhaps Valentine's storyline could ultimately collide with Anna's now that she's in jeopardy. If Valentine finds out that Anna's in trouble, he may waste no time in going after her and trying to fix this. Valentine obviously knows a lot about Cesar Faison's final project, and who's really been running the show. If anyone's going to have the necessary intel and fierce desire to protect Anna, it's going to be Valentine. This could lead to Valentine breaking out of prison, at least partly, so he can save Anna from whatever twisted plan she's caught up in. Valentine is always going to love Anna and want to keep her safe, so he may take drastic action to get her out of this jam. Anna has times when she's her own hero, but she might need Valentine to become one for her this time around. Although it's possible Faison is somehow still alive, it seems more likely that Jason Morgan's theory is right. Someone may be using Anna's traumatic Faison experience against her to play mind games. In other words, someone may be going to great lengths to make Anna believe Faison has returned. Valentine may know who that someone is and resolve to take them down following some unsettling Anna news. Maybe Valentine will put his own life on the line in the process once this prison break happens. We could certainly buy the idea of Valentine going into heroic mode for Anna's sake, so stay tuned for updates on any shockers to come. General Hospital spoilers say Anna's hostage ordeal will lead to some wild stuff no matter what. Since debuting as General Hospital's James West in 2023, Gary James Fuller has won the hearts of fans with his always amusing and endearing portrayal of Maxie Jones's precocious young son. Recently, he appeared with co-stars Bradford Anderson and Steve Burton on their That's Awesome podcast to talk about his full life as a very young soap star. In the 2.5 years Fuller has been bringing young James to life, the character has had many adventures. He fell into the lake, he broke his arm while sledding, he's run away from home multiple times, and he even witnessed some interesting moments between Drew and Willow. However, it turns out his favorite James moment was one of his first James moments. Fuller began playing James at the 2023 Nurses' Ball, which also coincided with General Hospital's 60th anniversary. Victor Cassadine kidnapped Liesl Obrecht that night via a magic box, and James unwittingly helped him. When I first started, and in my very first episode, it was when we did the Nurses' Ball 23, he told Anderson and Burton. That was one of my favorites, because we disappeared during the magic trick, and then we didn't come back, and then no one was in the box. We made water disappear, and we made our grandma disappear. Liesl was eventually found in Greenland with Victor's other hostages, so James got his Oma back. You can see the scene Fuller describes below. When Fuller auditioned for James, he learned he got the part right in the GH parking lot. However, it wasn't the first time he was at the GH studio, and not the first time he auditioned for the soap. I had an audition for the part of Wiley, and I didn't get that part, Fuller said. But then, 2 years later, I got the audition for the part of James. I obviously got that before we even left the parking lot. My agent told me that I booked it, and that's when I met Frank Valentini and Kirsten Storms. Currently, James is going through quite an upheaval in life as his mother lingers in a coma, and the father he met is allegedly back from the dead. It's a confusing time for the little boy, but Fuller's portrayal of James West has us glued to the screen watching his tale. And why is Martin not under arrest? Erica Slezak's short stint as General Hospital's Ronnie is ending with Martin admitting he faked Monica's will, leaving her sister the house Alan bought for her, and that Ronnie was in on it. You'd think the Quartermain family would be furious with Ronnie for the lies, but instead, they reserved their anger for Tracy. Martin forged Monica's will. Why isn't he under arrest and facing disbarment charges? We don't know. All he got was a frowny face from Laura and a door slammed in his face. Seems like getting off easy. After Ronnie admitted her part in the scam, Tracy wanted her gone from the house too. Except Tracy's family wasn't feeling it. Ned, Brooklyn, Olivia. They all joined forces to tell Tracy that she was being a big old meanie pants to poor Ronnie. She should at least let her spend the night at the mansion before she heads off on her way. After all, Ronnie is family. They've known her for minutes, days, a few weeks at the very least. How can Tracy eject a woman who lied to all of them and nearly stole their family home? She said she was sorry, for Pete's sake. What else does Tracy need? A pint of flesh? She is so petty. Newly discovered great-grandson Gio talked Tracy into letting bygones be bygones. Tracy is so desperate for a relationship with the young man whom she was nothing but kind to, but who forgot all that and decided she was only being nice to him because he was family, before she knew he was family, that she went ahead and did as he cajoled. This means accepting that she is the bad guy in this scenario, when, from our perspective, she's the victim. The real danger may already be standing in plain sight, wearing Nathan West's face. There's been a quiet murmur around Nathan since he returned from the dead on General Hospital. Not the warm, familiar kind you get when a character is resurrected, but the uneasy flicker you feel when something is just off, a hesitation in his eyes, a delay in his reactions. Britt clocked it first, her expression tightening before she even formed a word. And tucked underneath all of that is Anna's disappearance and Britt's own return. Put all of that together, and the show might be planting the earliest threads of a father and son nightmare, with Nathan, unknowingly or not, stepping into a chilling new legacy. Nathan was always one of GH's straightest lines. Decent, grounded, a man who didn't need theatrics to make his point. But this version of him feels hollow in places, like someone pressed reset and hoped for the best. It's the way he periodically throws mysterious, almost knowing glances. Britt's reaction to his return wasn't one of surprise. There's a specific kind of tension that only shows up when someone recognizes a familiar face, behaving in ways that don't match the memories attached to it. The audience immediately recognized it as a sense memory of Faison's unpredictability, that controlled chaos that lived in the air whenever he was near. Which makes the timing of Anna's kidnapping feel less like a coincidence and more like the first move on an old chessboard no one wanted to unpack again. If someone implanted fragments of Faison's memories, even echoes of them, into whatever brought Nathan back, then the man standing in front of Bobby's might be carrying instincts that didn't die with his father. GH has never been shy about identity twists, masks, brainwashing, swapped lives, cryonics, you name it. But this would be something quieter, more insidious. A son unknowingly haunted by a father whose presence lingered long past the grave. It wouldn't be Nathan acting out of malice, it would be Nathan acting out of programming. A ghost in the wiring of his own mind. And if that's true, then Anna's abduction becomes the opening note of a story that could ripple through every corner of the canvas. Jack, Jocelyn, Vaughn, even Laura and Sunny, all of them leaning toward the wrong conclusions. Because the villain they're looking for may already be standing in the same rooms they are, wearing the face of someone they once trusted. That's the part that gets under your skin. The possibility that Faison didn't need a resurrection. He just needed a vessel, and GH might be telling us, quietly, deliberately, that the scariest legacy isn't the one passed down through blood, it's the one smuggled in through memory. General Hospital spoilers are in for the week of November 10th, 2025. Fans can expect Jen Sidwell to charm Ava Jerome. Emma Scorpio Drake and Giovanni Gio Palmieri make a horrifying discovery. Plus, Laura Collins makes a sacrifice. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in the ABC soap opera. Let's start off with Sonny Corinthos. In Monday's episode, he will issue a demand to Michael Corinthos. The mob boss orders his son to end this now. However, by the look on Michael's face, I'm not sure if he is willing to do that. Later in the week, Michael makes an unexpected move. That leads to Willow Tate being stunned. That happens on the same day that Alexis Davis offers Willow some potentially good news. It is also teased that Drew Kane will continue to pressure Alexis for results. General Hospital spoilers for the week of November 10th reveal that Portia Robinson makes a confession. However, the good doctor gets alarmed when Isaiah Gannon suggests going to the police. When Portia's eyes bug out, the surgeon explains that it could clear everything up. Of course, it could also put Portia in prison. Over at Windermere, fans watched as Ava met with Sidwell to discuss Sunny. Ava warned the villain that once Sunny's children are threatened, there is zero room for a truce. Since Sidwell seems to be quite intrigued by Ava, could there be a romance brewing? Ava seems equally as intrigued by Sidwell. It would also be interesting to see Ava end up living back at Windermere. Fans will also see Brooklyn Quartermain get shocking news. BLQ will share the secret with Dante Falconeri. Later in the week, the brunette leans on Harrison Chase. Speaking of Chase, he gets acquainted with Nathan West. Emma and Gio make a horrifying discovery. Meanwhile, Britt Westbourne flies into a panic. The next day, Britt and Jason Morgan are interrupted. That same day, it is stated that Professor Henry Hank Dalton will have terrible timing. Towards the end of the week, Britt threatens Sidwell. Lulu Spencer opens up to Olivia Quartermain. Laura makes a sacrifice. Also, Trina Robinson clashes with Jordan Ashford. Meanwhile, Justine Turner's scheme unravels. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of November 10th, 2025? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on ABC to find out what happens next. General Hospital spoilers and updates indicate that Emma Scorpio Drake and Giovanni Gio Palmieri are about to stumble upon a shocking discovery in the lab. When Gio and Emma manage to get inside, they will be utterly stunned by what they uncover. Fans of GH are well aware that Emma and Gio have been scheming for this break-in for what seems like an eternity. Despite numerous obstacles and false starts, they finally have the ideal opportunity to execute their plan. While Emma and Gio still need to acquire Britt Westbourne's key fob, Charlotte Cassadine has promised to take care of that aspect. Even if Charlotte doesn't succeed, there's always the possibility that Rocco Falconeri will make another attempt and come out on top. Rocco has been quite determined to see this mission through, so we'll find out if he delivers for Gio and Emma, or if Charlotte steps up instead. Regardless, that key fob should soon be in the hands of Emma and Gio. With the mayoral debate providing the perfect distraction, they will promptly proceed with their lab break-in plan. On November 11th, Emma and Gio will stumble upon something quite shocking. It certainly appears that they will infiltrate the lab, only to discover that the situation is far more dire than they initially believed. Until now, they have been under the impression that Professor Henry Hank Dalton is involved in illegal animal testing. However, it's evident that this project extends well beyond mere animal cruelty. What will Emma and Gio discover when they gain access to the lab? Could they encounter human test subjects or something else that will leave them profoundly unsettled? In the same episode, Britt will enter panic mode, possibly realizing there has been a break-in and rushing to secure the area. She might even hurry to get Gio and Emma out before they witness something even more horrifying. Who knows? They may even find Anna Devane captive in there. In the aftermath, Britt may turn to Jason Morgan for assistance, especially since they will face an interruption on November 12th, and something will leave Britt in shock. It's easy to imagine that their rescue mission could be interrupted by someone. It may be Professor Henry Dalton, who'll have terrible timing. General Hospital spoilers and updates reveal Brooke Lynn Quartermain is set to receive some jarring news that she will find herself wanting answers for. She'll also find herself leaning on her husband, Harrison Chase, for support. Might she receive news that something's happened to her mom, Lois Cerullo? Lois and Brooke Lynn had semi-made up before Lois left Port Charles to manage Allison Blaze Rogers' tour. Lois had stopped by Sonny Corinthos' place first to say goodbye to him, and he helped her arrange for Brooke Lynn to come to his place as well. Sonny wanted to help the estranged mother and daughter make up, although Brooke Lynn was still somewhat hurt and mad. Both at Lois and her grandmother Gloria Cerullo, there was at least a meeting of the minds between Lois and Brooke Lynn. Lois was going across the world to manage this tour, and she wasn't going to be back for a long time. If something untoward happened to Lois, it would more than likely be due to an accident. But with Brooke Lynn's grandma Gloria at her age, it wouldn't be unusual if she were to pass. That news would be jarring to Lois as well, and she'd likely rush back to Bensonhurst with a side trip to Port Charles to support Brooke Lynn. Then the two, likely with Gio Palmieri, if he wanted to go, would go to Bensonhurst to make arrangements. Whatever the jarring news is about, Brooke Lynn finds herself wanting answers to questions like, why didn't she make up with her mother or grandmother fully while she had the chance? If either Lois or Gloria were to pass away, or perhaps be the victim of an accident, leaving one of them in a coma, Brooke Lynn would definitely have regrets and tears. And of course, she would lean on her husband. It hasn't been all that long since Chase lost his own father, Gregory Chase, to the ravages of ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. With the news being jarring and wanting answers, and leaning on her husband, we know that the news Brooke Lynn receives is major and devastating. It definitely sounds like someone may die, but the question is, who is it? Be sure to catch up on everything happening with GH right now. Come back here often for General Hospital spoilers, news, and updates. General Hospital spoilers tease a rumor is circulating that Marshall Ashford is going to be axed next week on GH. We're as shocked as you are. To be frank, the Ashford family tree already isn't a very large one. Curtis Ashford would be just wrecked to lose his father when he just broke the news that he and Portia Robinson, albeit amidst a divorce, are about to make him a grandfather again. Of course, that baby in Portia's belly may not be an Ashford, but Curtis doesn't know that yet. Losing his father could make it a lot harder for Portia to tell him the truth anytime soon if the baby isn't his, too. Stella Henry will take this one hard, but may rejoice that he's back with her sister again. But can we think about how this will hit Trina Robinson, who only just got to know her grandfather the last 2 years? Again, while it's just a rumor and they have a way of sometimes ending up far from the truth, if Marshall is slated to die, we have to ponder whether that's going to be by natural causes, which seems a wee bit early for his age, or if it happens by other means. Accidents happen. A hit and run that brings out the inner PI in Curtis and leaves him bent on figuring out who done it? A plotted attack to get back at Curtis, possibly by Congressman Drew Cain? The possibilities are endless. GH spoilers cry, some fans were ready for Marshall meets Stella. This rumor comes as a real bummer because although both Marshall and Stella have both been a bit absent on screen lately, we were hoping for their return before the next nurses' ball. The last few times they've engaged in the plotline, it always seems like they're dancing around some mild flirtation with one another. Sure, Stella is his sister-in-law to an extent. Marshall left her sister, Curtis's mother, ages ago. Some fans were really itching to see Marshall and Stella spark romance, but if Marshall's exit is coming this soon, that's clearly not going to happen. In other words, the fans are crying out to stop this, but we know how GH filming works. If it's true, these scenes were taped weeks ago and there's no stopping it now. Just as Kelly Monaco, no matter how much fans protested her leaving the show after so long, the writers decided it was time. Despite how many fans said they would stop watching, the ratings have risen in the last year since her death. While that can't be tied to her death, and probably has little to do with it, it's a testament to how devoted viewers are to the hit Sudser. So, will Marshall see his way out next week? Stay tuned for more GH news and spoilers to find out. Don't miss these major moments this week in Port Charles. A helpful hand, a horrifying discovery, and an almost moment. Don't miss these key scenes this week on General Hospital. Chase will start the week by detailing his plan. Odds are, this involves the jailed Willow and how he can come to her rescue. By Thursday, Chase will get acquainted with the man he replaced, Nathan. As for Brooklyn, after she receives jarring news on Monday, she'll be leaning on her husband come Wednesday. Now that Emma and Gio have put their plan in motion to expose Professor Dalton, the two will make a horrifying discovery on Tuesday. Wednesday brings terrible timing for Dalton, so if he catches the pair in his lab, things won't be looking good for the couple. Midweek, Jason and Britt are once again in each other's orbits, and when things start turning romantic again, spoilers tease they'll be interrupted. This interruption could be from a number of people, but it's likely to be Sidwell, whom Britt threatens on Thursday after a moment of panic on Tuesday. General Hospital spoilers and rumors tease there may be an alternative to the mysterious boss with the name starting with C on the package of Britt Westbourne's medicine. We know it's not Gen Z Sidwell because he refers to a boss over himself. It's been theorized it's Cesar Faison still alive. Might Cesar have a brother? Over the years, longtime GH fans have wondered where the last name Faison came from, considering Cesar's father's name was Emil Krieg and mother's name Sybil McTavish. Faison did use an alias of Herr Krieg at one time. It's always possible Faison could have come from a grandmother's maiden name. Considering that over recent years, there have been all kinds of relatives popping out of nowhere for various characters, might Caesar have a brother whose name also starts with C? Also considering the unknown twin stories that GH writers have written in the past few years, might Caesar also have a twin? Casper Faison sounds like a good name for a twin for Caesar. And it would explain if suddenly a villain with his brain in a jar of formaldehyde supposedly sprung to life. There's definitely a twin thing going on in Port Charles, ever since Anna Devane found out she had a twin named Alexandra Devane impersonating her. Not only that, but after years, she found out that it was Alex who gave birth to Heinrich Faison, aka Peter August, not her, thanks to memory transfers. Jason Morgan wound up with Drew, who used to be identical, and Willow Tate and Nell Benson were fraternal twins who didn't know about each other. And let's not forget the set of twins who always knew about each other, going back years, Kevin Collins and Ryan Chamberlain. GH viewers who've tuned in for at least the past 15 years will remember how Robin Scorpio Drake found Drew in stasis on Cassadine Island, believing he was Jason. What if part of Caesar's last project had his twin in stasis, and his memory and personality transferred into Casper's brain? For that matter, what if Nina Reeves's twins weren't the only ones separated by Madeline Reeves? Separated secret twins and memory transfers could explain both Caesar and Nathan West. Resurrections! After all, if you remember, although Liesl Obrecht knew what Madeline did with Nina's twins, she may not know Nathan had a twin if her baby was stolen. General Hospital spoilers reveal that we have to ask, is Nell Benson going to be the show's next resurrection? Will Chloe Lanier make a surprise return in the role? During the week of November 10 to 14th, Giovanni Gio Palmieri and Emma Scorpio Drake will move full speed ahead with their lab break-in scheme, which will result in a disturbing discovery. It sounds like Emma and Gio are going to unleash some horror with their next move, so the show could be gearing up for another major comeback. After all the build-up, it makes sense for this lab break-in to lead to a big reveal for viewers. Gio and Emma might find human test subjects during their lab exploration. One or more of them could be familiar faces to GH fans, so that's something to keep in mind. Britt Westbourne had help faking her demise, and ultimately turned back up alive in Port Charles. Nathan West was the next character to reappear in PC, despite his demise and burial. With Britt and Nathan walking around town just fine, anything is possible when it comes to other deceased characters returning. What if Nell Benson becomes the newest resurrection and shakes things up? Nathan supposedly doesn't recall where he's been or what he's been up to over the past 7 years. Maybe Nathan was instrumental in saving Nina Reeves's daughter and just doesn't remember it. There are some other interesting spoilers to mention for the week of November 10-14 as well. Brooklyn Quartermain will demand answers and ultimately get support from Harrison Chase. There's a chance that could be in response to Brooklyn's old throat slasher resurfacing. Plus, GH spoilers indicate that Elizabeth Baldwin will be unnerved, Willow Tate will get stunning news, and Carly Spencer will face a shocker. It's possible Nell's comeback could stir up all those reactions. Of course, there's no guarantee Chloe Lanier will be sliding back in the role of Nell Benson, but it never hurts to have some fun and speculate. Even Josh Kelly did that in an interview with Woman's World back in September. Kelly, who's romantically involved with Lanier in real life, brought up the possibility that Nell could still be alive and pitched the idea of her getting together with Cody. In that interview, Kelly certainly made it seem like Lanier would be down for a return stint, so maybe Nell could indeed resurface soon. Regardless, General Hospital spoilers suggest more resurrections could be looming. General Hospital update for the week of November 10 to 14 reveals that Nathan West and Harrison Chase will trade questions while Jason Morgan and Britt Westbourne get disrupted. First, let's talk about Lulu Spencer, who'll confide in Olivia Quartermain as she worries about Charlotte Cassadine and Rocco Falconeri. Lulu may soon have another reason to be concerned if Rocco and Charlotte stay tangled up in all the lab break-in drama. However, Giovanni Gio Palmieri and Emma Scorpio Drake will ultimately take the lead when it comes to that lab invasion. There'll be some shockers behind closed doors that leave Emma and Gio aghast. Later, Dante will find himself in a situation where his professional life affects his personal life. That could be tied to Gio's arrest. If Dante indeed has to place him in handcuffs because of this break-in happening, Brooklyn Quartermain may lash out at Dante if he's forced to haul Gio down to the Peace PD and throw him in lockup. Britt Westbourne will have a total freakout once this lab mayhem heats up. You can bet Britt will spot Pascal in Port Charles at some point as well, so that'll give her another reason for a meltdown. Jason will be there for Britt, but their intense discussion will be disrupted. Will that be due to Professor Henry Hank Dalton's horrible timing that's coming up, or perhaps Pascal instead? Regardless, Britt will put Jen Sidwell on full blast later and threaten him during their showdown. Sidwell will fire back and could easily follow through on his previous threat of keeping Britt's medication doses from her. Over with Harrison Chase, he'll have a plan to help Willow Tate, but Michael Corinthos is set to throw a curveball that could shake up Willow's case in a big way. Chase will also spend some time getting to know Nathan, so they'll trade questions and try to bond. Since Nathan is Dante's former partner and Chase is his current one, that'll give them something to talk about. While tension erupts between Trina Robinson and Jordan Ashford, Molly Lansing Davis will find herself feeling a sense of relief. Cody Bell may have some sort of close call that scares Molly briefly. ADA, Justine Turner's plot against Sonny Corinthos will also fall apart, so they may surrender to the sparks between them soon enough. In the meantime, Laura Collins' sacrifice is sure to stun Port Charles. Will Laura drop out of the mayoral race to stop whatever Sidwell and Ezra Boyle have in motion? Over with Carly Spencer, she'll get some shocking updates when she returns from her latest Steinmauer visit. Whether that's about Michael's next move, or perhaps Lucas Jones moving in Windermere, Carly will definitely be taken aback. General Hospital spoilers and updates for Monday, November 10th. Tease Brooke Lynn Quartermain wants a promise, and Isaiah Gannon has a question. Also, Gio Palmieri and Emma Scorpio Drake plot to get into Professor Henry Dalton's lab. Brooke Lynn is on the Quartermain mansion deck with Dante Falconeri, and she wants a promise, asking him to promise that something stays between the two of them. There's a good chance that Brooke Lynn is concerned about her husband, Dante's partner, Harrison Chase, and his undying support of Willow Tate. Brooke Lynn may be feeling like Chase is more wrapped up in his ex's legal problems than he is in their marriage, and sometimes it seems that way. But of course she wouldn't want him to know she's concerned about that, but Dante will certainly understand. He knows that Anna Devane was concerned that Chase couldn't be objective about Willow. He was there when she spoke to him about it. In the meantime, at the hospital, Isaiah is worried as he asks Portia Robinson if they should go to the police just to clear things up. She looks worried as it seems that Felicia Scorpio already got the information Alexis Davis wanted about Portia's work schedule the time Drew Kane was shot. Portia certainly doesn't want Isaiah's and her love nest time that night to be made public knowledge in a courtroom, but it certainly does present some problems as to how she would explain her and Isaiah being together in a place other than the hospital. Elsewhere, Gio and Emma plot. As Gio says, they're not going to get a better shot at this than tonight. Even though neither Emma nor Rocco Falconeri were able to get Britt Westbourne's keys to the lab, they're not giving up. Port Charles University is where the mayoral debate is taking place, and there will be lots of distractions, with the security's focus on the candidates. If Britt has a key, then others must too. Perhaps a guard, or Dalton himself? If nothing else, the janitorial staff has to have a key to have access to clean the lab. At Pentonville, Alexis Davis is visiting Willow and tells her she has some potentially good news, meaning the suspect pool may be widening. Even if it's not Michael Corinthos who really shot Drew, the point being made is that if Portia doesn't have an alibi, it may go good for Willow. Alexis wouldn't be doing this if she didn't think Portia is a viable suspect, because then everyone would be back to square one. Alexis having access to her granddaughter Scout Quartermain is at stake. If she doesn't get Willow off the attempted murder charges, then she may never see her granddaughter again. Elsewhere, Nina Reeves is talking to Drew about someone, and Nina says they don't need to get rid of her, Michael will. Who's the her she's talking about? It certainly can't be Willow. Chances are, they are talking about his alibi, Jacinda Bracken, who couldn't be bought, her loyalties to Michael. Are they plotting to get rid of Jacinda and frame Michael for it, since Drew's been unable so far to frame Michael himself for his own shooting? Or might they be referring to someone else? In the meantime, Sonny Corinthos talks to Michael, and he can't stress enough that they have to make this go away now. Of course, he's talking about the attempted murder charge that Michael could be charged with, especially if Willow and Drew have their way. Willow's already convinced that Michael framed her by putting the murder weapon in her room at Elizabeth Baldwin's house. The attempted murder weapon presents a problem in Alexis's case against Portia. Where would she have gotten Edward Quartermain's gun? But when Sonny proposed Portia as a suspect, he may not have had that information. Will Michael tell him now? General Hospital spoilers and updates reveal that this year's annual event, held at Graceland, Elvis Presley's former home in Memphis, featured a nurses' ball preview. One performance that garnered a landslide of applause was when Giovanni Mazza performed with Braden Bruner. Last weekend, a number of stars from General Hospital gathered for the much-anticipated annual Graceland event. And for those who couldn't make it, we have some incredible footage to share with all the fans. One particular video truly left us in awe. Giovanni Mazza shared a stunning video of a performance he did alongside Braden Brunner. And we challenge you not to feel the chills. The talented actress performed Fleetwood Mac's classic 1975 hit Landslide, while Giovanni played guitar, and we're confident that we'll see this dynamic duo collaborate again at an upcoming Nurses' Ball. Wow, just wow! You really need to see it for yourself. Several of their fellow cast members also took to the comments to express their admiration. Kelly Thiebaud remarked, "So beautiful," while Finola Hughes commented, "Gorgeous!" Kathleen Gotti described their performance as absolutely fantastic, and Kristen Vaganos added, "Okay, I cried, and I have chills." See, we weren't exaggerating. Even Crew Morrow from The Bold and the Beautiful stopped by to share his thoughts, saying, "You guys are awesome." Rory Gibson recently took to his official Instagram account to share a plethora of captivating photos from the event titled Graceland GH 2025 on film. These images prominently feature his fellow cast members, including a delightful snapshot of Mazza and Brunner, along with a variety of scenes captured both inside and outside the venue. If you haven't had the chance to experience this event yet, it's certainly something to consider for next year. The Graceland event has been a favorite among both stars and fans alike, and this year marks its 6th anniversary, making it a long-standing tradition that never fails to deliver excitement. But it wasn't just Rory and his co-stars who left a lasting impression on the audience. Chris McKenna took to the stage and delivered an electrifying performance that had everyone on their feet. His rendition of La Bamba was so lively and spirited that it would surely make Richie Valens proud. Just picture the excitement if we could persuade Finola Hughes to join Chris for an energetic salsa dance. One enthusiastic fan who witnessed Chris's performance on X even suggested that he should consider performing Secret Agent Man at the upcoming Nurses' Ball. Additionally, Chris showcased his talent with a fantastic version of the Bobby Darin classic, Mac the Knife. The past performances at this event have often mirrored the unforgettable acts from previous Nurses' Balls, featuring incredible talents like James Patrick Stewart as Valentine Cassadine and many others. Be sure to catch up on everything happening with GH right now. Come back here often for General Hospital spoilers, news, and updates. General Hospital's Tracy was added again. Fans of General Hospital are acutely aware of how much Tracy's family means to her, and when an interloper threatens to come between them, she doesn't suffer fools gladly. What if that interloper is also the long-lost sister of Tracy's late sister-in-law, Monica? Fireworks galore! The week began with Ronnie about to sign over the Quartermaine mansion to the black sheep of the family, Drew. Martin was blackmailing Ronnie to sign over the house to Drew, or he would expose her role in deceiving the family about Monica's last wishes. In a revenge-inspired act, Martin, who has a high level of disdain for Tracy, forged Monica's will, which bequeathed the Quartermaine mansion to Ronnie. Although she did not want to betray the family, whom she had grown close to, she also did not want to see the inside of the jail cell. Just when it looked like she would rather accept the consequences of her actions, Cody's dog, Outback, snatched the papers for the sale of the house right out from under Drew. Tracy's world turned upside down when she uncovered Monica's real will, tucked away with Alan's diplomas, and rushed over to the Q mansion. Handing the document to Michael, Tracy faced skepticism from Martin, who accused her of forging it. However, Tracy received the ultimate vindication when Ronnie confessed that Martin had forged the previous will to steal the Quartermaine estate. Ronnie explained that Martin posed as Monica's friend to manipulate her into helping him, until guilt got the better of her. When she tried to pull out, Martin blackmailed her into staying quiet. Once the truth came out, Tracy demanded arrests all around, but Brooke Lynn convinced her to show mercy toward Ronnie, who'd ultimately done the right thing. In a twist worthy of the Quartermaines, Michael revealed Monica's authentic will left the family mansion to Tracy, not him. The shock brought tears and reflection as Tracy realized Monica had trusted her to keep the family together. Meanwhile, Ronnie was left a touching gift: money to buy a home in her favorite Durham neighborhood, and Monica's locket. But forgiveness didn't come easy. Furious that her family sided with Ronnie, Tracy kicked them all out of the house Monica had left her. Gio visited Tracy, urging her to see that Monica's gift meant she was now the head of the Quartermain family. By the end, Tracy admitted she needed her family just as much as they needed her. A fitting reminder that in true Quartermain fashion, even chaos can lead to connection. Tracy took a major step toward mending fences on General Hospital when she invited Ronnie to the mansion for a long overdue talk. Surrounded by old photos, Tracy awkwardly tried to make amends, but her first apology fell flat. Still full of blame and pride, Ronnie saw right through her half-hearted effort, refusing to accept it and calling her out for never taking responsibility for her actions. Ronnie reminded Tracy that while the rest of the Quartermains had forgiven her, Tracy continued to judge and push people away. When Tracy claimed she'd only been protecting Monica's legacy, Ronnie fired back that all Monica ever wanted was for her family to love one another. During the heated exchange, Ronnie told Tracy to put a sock in it, which was what Monica always used to say. That broke Tracy, and she did the right thing. Meanwhile, the rest of the Quartermain clan gathered at Bobby's diner to regroup. Ned, Olivia, Brooklyn, Michael, and Dante shared laughs over breakfast, but admitted they wouldn't return home until Tracy truly apologized. Gio, however, urged patience, hinting that his great-grandmother might surprise them. And she did. Later that morning, Ronnie revealed she'd received a real apology from Tracy, one straight from the heart. When the family rushed back to the mansion, Tracy stunned them again by welcoming everyone home. In an uncharacteristic show of warmth, she even accepted a group hug. Finally, Tracy confessed her regret for misjudging Ronnie and acknowledged Monica's lasting influence. And asking for forgiveness, she admitted that love, not stubbornness, was the true way to honor Monica's memory. In that emotional moment, the Quartermain family finally found its way back together, hopefully living peacefully until the annual Quartermain Thanksgiving turns into a pizza party. Tracy has never been shy about doing everything she can to protect her family, but Ronnie was part of the family through her sister Monica. It's one thing to outlaw Drew, who is reprehensible, but shouldn't Ronnie's mea culpa have been enough? Personally, I would have liked to see it play out longer, with Tracy having an epiphany right before Christmas, or having the family rally around her after an accident. I would watch Jane Elliott read the phone book, so there were opportunities for it to be drawn out a little longer. Did you like the swift resolution? Would you have liked Ronnie to stick around? General Hospital hints we might have a huge twist with this mystery boss storyline now that Anna Devane has been kidnapped. Let's talk about who I suspect is involved, and it's none other than Alex Merrick, who is Anna's evil twin sister. All right, so we just saw Jack Brennan give Jocelyn Jax an assignment to get closer to Lucas Jones and find out all she can about Marco Rios. And then she left, and Vaughn got upset and told Jack that what he's assigned Jocelyn to do is way too dangerous, but he won't let up. Jack's phone rang, interrupted him and Vaughn, and then when Jack answered, it was Anna saying something has happened. The thing is, it can't be her calling Jack. This week, Anna was abducted from her car and is being held captive. I saw a lot of people on Soap's social media talking about how can Anna be a top spy but not notice somebody in the back of her car. Your dome light comes on, especially in the dark. I think you would notice, but it's General Hospital. So then a Danish voice, presumably César Faison's, or they want us to think it is, said Anna is on her way to a new life while she's screaming, "No!" And of course, we didn't see who was talking to her. So, whether or not it was really César Faison back from the dead remains to be seen, but what is clear is that it can't be Anna calling Jack. So it seems to me extremely likely that this is Alex Merrick, Anna's wicked twin sister, involved. If you recall way back in the beginning of the storyline, General Hospital was referring to this mystery boss as a she. It was initially a lady boss, and then they changed and started referring to the boss as he, like when Britt Westbourne was talking to Pascal in Croatia, saying he wouldn't want me hurt. So maybe there's more to this. maybe there are two bosses running this operation. A, he and a she. Or maybe they're sloppy in the writer's room and they hadn't made up their minds what they were going to do, and then they swerved and then swerved back. So, the she in this equation may be Alex. And yeah, if you recall, Anna shot her back in 2020 when they were fighting on the haunted star. Alex fell overboard and was presumed dead, but nobody was ever found. And we know what that means on a soap. If we're keeping track of these related deaths, by the way, Faison and Nathan West were both supposedly killed in 2018, one after the other on January 31st. And then in this same timeline, Alex was next to die in November 2020. And then Peter August, who is Alex and Faison's son, died in February 2022. The next year in January 2023, Britt supposedly died. And now we've got Nathan and Britt back from the dead. So who's next? Who is next to be resurrected? If you remember when Alex died, I never thought she was actually dead because she fell overboard into the cold water. And a lot of people have fallen into the waters in Port Charles and bobbed back up later. There are a lot of things pointing to Anna's twin being involved in this. First and foremost is Anna's kidnapping, because Alex may be taking her place. She could also be the person who approached Britt to do the research and offered to help fake her death and help with the Huntingtons. But it might go even deeper. Faison may not actually be involved. This is just legacy work. It could be Alex and her twisted son she had with Faison, the villainous Peter August. If it is, the question is whether Peter is living rent-free in Nathan's head or if he was resurrected physically. Peter could easily be Alex's secret partner because the WSB took Peter's body right after Anna sat there and watched him die, instead of her calling 911 to get Peter help to save him. The WSB is shady, and back then Victor Cassadine and other dodgy people were running it. You know, Jack was pretty dodgy at one point with the WSB, and also the private military organization, Pikeman, that Valentine Cassadine was also involved in. So yeah, they could have carted Peter off and revived him. And if he's the one working with his mom, Alex, that would explain the confusing shift between he and she when referencing the boss. Plus, I do think Anna's awful twin would use Faison as a threat, even if he is really dead. Realistically, there's a chance he's alive. I mean, Anna was worried about it, despite his brain supposedly being in a jar on Kevin Collins's desk. With Britt and Nathan both just back from the dead, of course, it's plausible that Faison, Alex, and Peter have all also been resurrected, or some combination of those three. If so, that would be the whole family back from the dead, and that's absolutely terrifying to consider. I also wonder if there's a chance that Dr. Cabot might be involved. Do you remember him? Maybe he's the C from the note. He was the twisted doctor who experimented on twins and did memory transfer stuff. Anna and Alex were two of his subjects. That's why Anna thought she had given birth to Peter, because Alex's night with Faison memories and the giving birth to Peter memories had been implanted in Anna's head. Kevin and Ryan Chamberlain were also two of Cabot's subjects, and the twisted doc also did the memory transfer, putting Drew Kane Quartermain's memories into Franco's head. But he was busted for doing that, and Cabot was arrested and sent to Steinmauer, which of course Valentine has been there. We've had a lot of these people in play that have all been at Steinmauer, so maybe Alex and Peter used Cabot to implant Faison's or Peter's memories into Nathan's head, and that body that's running around may have more than one person inside of it. Cabot proved with this Franco and Drew memory transfer that he could do the memory thing even when it's not with twins. His research started with twins, but it didn't stop there. So now we've got Nathan back, who seems on and off like himself. Britt seems to know why. She seems wary of Nathan. She is not spending time with her long-lost brother, like you would think a sister would, who was thrilled that their brother had been resurrected because Britt did love Nathan. So, how she's reacting now is very strange. And all of a sudden, we've got Valentine back on the canvas. And Alex had a thing for Valentine way back when, before his physical transformation, all those surgeries. Remember, he was hunched, and he was crippled. Alex slept with Valentine way back then, pretending to be Anna. And Valentine was really hurt when he found out it was Alex that he was with, and not Anna. and Alex not only had a fixation on Valentin, but also Faison. That's how Peter came to be. So maybe General Hospital brought Valentin back to be part of this Alex story. They may also do a retcon and write some history between Alex and Jack. That would make sense because Anna, Valentin, and Jack were in WSB training at the same time that Alex was lurking around and hooked up with Valentin. Also looks like the secret lab is now under Windermere, which is another sign Faison is involved. He used to lurk down in the catacombs. He knows Spoon Island back and forth. Peter being involved makes sense because Maxie Jones was put into the coma. So, Peter might have ordered Jen Sidwell to do that to get Maxie away from Damian Spinelli. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you!